Hi everyone! Today I want to show you a trio of cards with the Tasteful Touches stamp set. This is a newer stamp set from the newer annual catalog, and it has some really pretty images on here. The flower and the feather and this little leaf are great, and then these two little textured backgrounds are nice for adding some patterns to the back of your cardstock bases. That would be really pretty, and I think that this would be a beautiful set for so many reasons, but I also like the fonts here and the sayings. I love the Just Saying Hello, and actually all of these are great for right now when we're all kind of social distancing and we're not seeing a lot of our friends, and what a better thing that you can do than to just send a little card that you're thinking about your friend. So I've been doing a few of those, and so I like the Just Saying Hello and the You Are Special. And so anyway, these are all great for, I think, the times that we're in, and you can make some really pretty things with it. So I made up a few cards, and they're all basically the same, but they're showing you, like, here's a simple, just very simple stamps and paper. You don't need to have a lot of supplies for this. You don't need a die cut machine or an embossing gun or anything like that. This is just stamps and paper. And then I stepped it up a little bit. If you happen to have a die cutting machine, you can add this scallop edge and some ribbon, and then I cut the flower out instead of just stamping it directly. And so that's just a little more work involved on this one. And then a further stamped up version or stepped up version would be this one that has embossing. So you've got your gold embossing here, and then I've added some laser cut gold leaves behind. I also added these gold gems, and I'm not sure that I like them. Sometimes I like gold gems or pearls or rhinestones, and sometimes I think it's too much, so I haven't decided how I'm going to do it. So on the one that we make together, I'm going to leave them off, and then I'll hold them next to each other, and you can tell me which ones you like better. So let's get started on our cards. Starting with the simple, I've got a background in gray granite, and then this cardstock from the Designer Series paper. That Designer Series paper that I'm using here is called In Good Taste, and it's a beautiful Designer Series paper collection. I'm going to show it to you real quick. It's all, I think it's photos of real things, is what I think is going on here. And you've got, like, this is a canvas that's got paint and gesso maybe, or plaster or something on it that I think is really fun. And then on the back you've got these wood planks, and here looks like a countertop, some kind of slate or granite or something. And on the back some tiles. This looks like it could be on a bathroom backsplash or spa or something. It just kind of gives you this brickwork here, which is kind of fun. And then I've used up most of this. This is like a textured rug, and it's really pretty. These are really great backgrounds. And on the back there was another tile pattern. And then there's a darker plank floor and a different tile pattern. Let's see. I've used up a lot of my, here's a different tile pattern. Look at how pretty that is with the blues. Let's see if you can see it. Whoops. Like I said, I'm missing a lot. Here's a bigger textile. That's nice. And then this is really cute too. This looks like a baby blanket to me, and I thought this would be fun on a baby card, but it can also be for many other things too. It's just a real pretty soft looking background. And here's another modern tile. So you kind of got some soft or hard surfaces, another wooden design, and another textile. And I think I've used up most of the others. Here's another tile, and here's blue paint and gesso, and a really light floor. Let's see what's on the back of that one, and some more brickwork. So I've used up most of some patterns, so I don't have everything. But it's a really fun pack of Designer Series paper, and it's a big pack too, because these are really awesome for backgrounds and very neutral. They'll go with so many stamp sets. It's not just a pack of 12 sheets. You actually get 24 sheets, so it's a little more expensive. It's $21 instead of $11.50. So you've got $21, but you get 24 sheets, so it's actually really nice. And then here's one of them that I've only got a few scraps left. This is it. I've got like 3 of these left, and that's it on my boards here. I think they're really fun, aren't they? And it's just a really great piece of pack of paper. The patterns are neutral, like I said, and you're going to use them for everything. So let's go ahead and put this down. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I think I said my base was gray granite. And then our image is going to go on this little piece of Whisper White, which is cut 2.5 by 3 1/4. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use Pretty Peacock to stamp on the background. And, oh, I made a mistake already. You know, sometimes when you make a video, it just happens. So I'm going to see if I can save this little piece. First you stamp the flower, not the background. So I'm going to stamp my flower image kind of in the lower right side. And then I'm going to stamp the leaf. Now how you do that is you're going to have to use a little piece of Post-it note. So I first stamped again on a little Post-it note and cut it out, and then you're going to put it right on top of your stamped image. Now when you cut that out, cut right on the line, as close to the line as you can get. And also you might even want to bring this down just a hair, because even though Post-it notes are very thin, I mean just a hair, the lift of that Post-it note is going to keep the next stamp from fully making contact with the paper right there on the edge, so there's a small gap. And you can see how that works out right now when we add the leaf. So we've got that right on top. And then when I remove this, see, it's cut out nicely, so it looks like it's behind. So that is the correct way. And then I just hang on to this and put it in with my stamp set so that I know I have a mask for that stamp the next time I want to use it. Okay, so I've got Pretty Peacock, and then I stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black, and that's because I'm going to use Stampin' Blends. Now you can stamp in another color if you don't have the blends. You can stamp directly in a colored ink, or you can color with your watercolor pencils or your markers. I'm going to use Stampin' Blends, and I'm using another in color. That Pretty Peacock was an in color, and then this is a Rococo Rose. So I'm going to go ahead and use that, and I've got a light and a dark. And how I like to color with these is I like to do a layer in light, then I like to add the dark layer, and then I like to blend again in the light. So I kind of go light, dark, light. And everybody has a different way. I hear people say, no, you got to add the darks first, and some people say, no, light to dark, and you have to find what works best for you. And you just work in a few sections at a time. That works best, because once this dries, and it does dry fast, these are alcohol based, so they're going to dry kind of fast. So I work in a small section, cap always. I'm going to add the dark kind of wispy details, and you can tell where to do that just based on the stamp itself. You can see where they've added the details. And then I go over with the nub end, and I kind of blend those out by just going over them again. And allow that to dry, and you'll see it kind of gets rid of the harsher ends. And I'll do a few more flowers, petals. I don't know why I jumped way over there. For some reason I felt like that one needed to be done. Okay, just 2 more petals. Now for the center, you can choose a nice color. For that, I'm going with, I wanted yellow, just kind of bright, and I'm using the Mango Melody. And I'm going to start with the light. Now this is a tiny little space, and it's got lots of dark ink, so I'm not really super concerned about blending here. So I'm kind of going over the whole thing with the light, and then just for a little bit of depth, I'm going to touch it here and there with the dark. And that's it. Okay, so that is our image, and then I just placed it directly down here on my cardstock to the left. And then I stamped already, just for the interest of time, I stamped the "You Are So Special," and you can just put that straight down on your card, or if you want, you can lift it up a little bit with some dimensionals, which I'm going to do. And that is "You Are So Special." Now for the inside of the card, I like to jazz them up a little bit. I've got another sheet of Whisper White, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to grab that pretty peacock again, and this time I'm going to stamp on the edges here. Okay, and there's our simple card. And now let's step up a little bit, and I'm taking some of the ease out of here by already having some of this done. I've already die cut this piece here. Now this is die cut. I love this little scallop with the stitching. Love it. It's one of my favorite dies. And it's from a collection called Stitched So Sweetly, and it's just fantastic. I use it constantly. You really want to grab this. It's got these nice labels, and then it's got these scalloped, smaller nesting, I guess you could say, scalloped rectangles. They're fantastic with stitching detail. I love them. So I've used the, not the largest, but the second to largest, and I've cut off the top. And I'm going to stamp the leaf image again in Pretty Peacock. And I've already colored, since you saw me coloring the last one, I didn't want to color again. So I've already colored and cut out this little flower. I've made another one for the next one. I want to show you how easy it is to cut out. I know that a lot of times if a stamp set doesn't have a die, that we feel like we don't want it because we don't like to cut, but a lot of times people think that when I've cut things out, they think I must use some sort of an electric cutter, and I don't. I just use my scissors. I just find it not so difficult, and you know, some images are more difficult than others. But if you have a really nice pair of scissors, like our paper snips that Stampin' Up sells, they are sharp and they are nice. They get into the tight corners. And I think, you know, sometimes we're harder on ourselves than we need to be as far as how we cut things out. So, and sometimes you can give yourself a little white edge, which is how a die cut would have probably cut. Or you can get even closer to that edge. It's up to you what you're in the mood to do. And I tend to move the paper, not the scissors. I'm slowly closing the scissors as I move the paper. There, so we're ready for our next two cards. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go ahead and first I'm going to wrap it in some linen thread. You know, another nice thing about the scalloped edge on the card is it holds that linen thread in place. So now it's wrapped around. I want to go around I wrapped it twice and I want to go underneath it so that when I tie a knot, it's tying them both together. And I don't mind having extra. I think the curliness to it is kind of cute. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right on top. But first I'm going to attach it to my card base. And I like it hanging slightly off, so it's not quite taking up that whole square. It just adds a little hangover, and it's kind of nice. And then I've already stamped the You Are So Special, but I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals as well. Okay, there is the stepped up a little bit version. Let's give that an inside. Okay, there's number 2. And then let's go a little further with the third version. I've already got my base for us done, and I've got my stitched rectangle, and I forgot to cut the end off of this one. Let me do that. I think I cut 3 scallops off. There we go. If you like this little miniature, this is something that demonstrators were given in a recruiting promotion, and then people who already are demonstrators can purchase. So if you join, you can purchase one of these. They're super cute. Anyway, so now I'm going to go ahead and stamp that leaf again on the background. Right, like that. And since I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and do this as well. We are done with Pretty Peacock. Alright, now just like before, I'm going to wrap my scallop piece in the linen, but I'm also going to grab some laser cut gold pieces. I want to show you what these look like. They come in a pack like this, Forever Gold Specialty Designer Series paper, and it's just gorgeous. And you've got all of these die cut pieces, and I don't want to move these too much because this is a full pack, but I wanted to show it to you because what I did is I took them all apart. But you get 3 sheets like this, and then you get 3 sheets of background pieces. Let me see if I can show you that without making a mess. So this has 6 different background pieces, really gorgeous, and I love them. This is what I do is I take them all out of the package and I store them in a stamp case because I started using them up and then the papers start to get floppy and it's hard to put them back in the container, so I put them in a stamp case. And these are available to purchase, and you can get wide ones and skinny ones. This one's a skinny one, and maybe I should have went with a wide one. But anyway, I haven't used any of these full backgrounds yet. I think I'm hoarding them maybe. But I've used a ton of these little pieces, and I've already pulled some out for my cards, but they're just beautiful. And I grabbed a couple of those for this card. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in the linen thread, and then we're going to put that together. Out of this roll. Let's see if it'll make it. this one might be a little long, so I'm going to cut that off like that. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my flower down first. And then, you know, maybe I'll put it on my card first before adding the gold. It's easier to do it when it's flat. I should have done it before I added my flower. Okay, so I've got that done. And then I'm going to take these cute little gold pieces. I'm going to snip the end off of there. Add just a little bit of glue in a few places. And then tuck it under my flower. And then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Okay, now on this one we're going to emboss our sentiment. So I've got a piece of Pretty Peacock. Now this is not quite an inch. It's 7/8 wide, and then this is just a scrap, so it's really long, and we'll trim it when we're done. So to emboss, I'm going to use my Versamark. And then some gold embossing powder. And a little scratch paper here. Okay. And let's heat that up. Watching that melt is always so pleasing, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to trim this down. And attach it. Alright, let's add the inside and then we'll compare it to the one with the little gems on it and you tell me. I hope you enjoy the simple to stepped up versions of the card. It's always nice to have options, and if you have a little more time or a little more supplies on hand to step it up, but also know that you can make something just really simple as well. Here you go. Alright, here it is without the little gems. Here it is with the little gems. Let's see, which one do you think you like better? Let me know in the comments. That will be fun. I want to see, because sometimes I think less is more, but then sometimes it looks, maybe it's too plain. So you tell me which one is the one that you like better, and we'll see which one comes out on top on that. I hope that you'll join me on my Facebook page. I have a page called Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group. It's actually a group that's closed, but I invite everybody and I will approve you. And you can share what you're making with the Tasteful Touches stamp set, or show me if you've made something like this, or if you make this exact one. You can share it there, and we also have little challenges and things throughout the month, and I'm starting a new mystery kit challenge this week. So anyway, tell me what you think, gems or no gems, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again, and I hope you'll subscribe. Bye.